Mick Spencer is a business owner on a mission. He founded On The Go Custom Apparel at the ripe old age of 22, which has seen 80 to 120% growth year on year. The Prime Minister visited his office just yesterday, and his book is about to be launched.
I just trusted the process, and it was a big trust because I had no money in the bank. I transferred money to a factory in China I'd never met before, and I said yes to a customer I'd never met. But I just thought, well, you know, what's the worst that can happen? And let's go for it.
It's the award-winning Small Business Big Marketing Show, thanks to American Express.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo.
And welcome back to your weekly dose of marketing cunningness. Try and say that quickly. I'm your host, Timbo Reid, but you, so much more importantly, you're a motivated business owner and you're ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Today's 436th episode is made possible thanks to American Express. To see how you can turn your existing expenses into some seriously good rewards, Google Amex Business after the show. Big show today. Young entrepreneur Mick Spencer shares how he's built On The Go Custom Apparel into a multi-million-dollar global powerhouse. Listener Dr. Ty Belknap shares one big marketing idea he successfully implemented from this show. And this week's jingle of the week would probably make the Beach Boys vomit. Well, maybe not vomit, but cringe at the very least. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. By the age of 27, Mick Spencer had become a globally recognised CEO, a multi-millionaire entrepreneur and an investor. Sir Richard Branson said, and I quote, "Mick Spencer is a future business leader to watch." End quote. Now, Mick's the founder and CEO of On The Go Custom Apparel, a multi-million-dollar global e-commerce company that enables users to design and manufacture their apparel and accessories. I think you're going to love this chat. See, Mick is on a mission to disrupt the world of sporting apparel. He's built some incredible partnerships with the likes of Wesfarmers, one of Australia's biggest publicly listed companies. Our Prime Minister, don't know which one, I've lost track, was visiting him only yesterday after this interview, and his book launches next week. I started off by asking Mick how he came to be sitting alongside Sir Richard on a conference panel just 4 years into starting On The Go.
Oh, it was one of the best days of my life, I think. I was luckily chosen through a LinkedIn competition to sit with Richard Branson and 4 other future business thinkers at the University of Queensland Future of Business Summit. So, I mean, I got 3 hours next to him on a panel and then about 2-3 hours actually hanging out with him out the back talking about the business. And, learning a bit about the master of the man.
What was your biggest takeaway?
I think the biggest takeaway was you've just got to continue to back yourself of everything and invest in yourself as a person. And that was a huge thing that Branson was, very focused on throughout his career. Is he knew that if he backed himself, that would form the foundations of building a great team, keeping his mind clear to disrupt certain industries. And also the premise of actually building a great team as well. That's what I took, massively from that.
Interesting. I just interviewed a mental health advocate for small business owners in Australia, and one of her key bits of advice was to invest in yourself before you need it. So actually, obviously similar to what Sir Richard was saying.
Absolutely agree. I think it's one of the hardest careers you could ever choose, right? Being a business owner, being this sexy entrepreneur that people put tags on. It's lonely at the top, they say, and it's real, right? The grind is real, and it's never what people see in the public eye. So,
have you been called a sexy entrepreneur or just an entrepreneur, Mick? Let's get that clear right up front.
Just an average entrepreneur, mate.
I love it. Hey, speaking of name dropping, and Mick Jagger once said to me, never drop a name, you've also got the Prime Minister coming into your office tomorrow.
Yeah. It was a crazy afternoon. I mean, we always say to the team here, never, there's always a surprise here. But yeah, we just got approached through the Veteran Affairs Council in the PM's office, and one of our fantastic sales reps who's been with the business for 3 years, he was actually a former military officer and a massive advocate for Veteran Affairs. And they want to use the company as a case study on the news. So we've just been madly organising the warehouse and the showroom and the team and getting everyone aligned for it. So that should be a bit of fun.
Mate, that is awesome. I've talked about this on the show before, but there is a certain companies, certain types of businesses become media darlings. And I've watched a bit of some of the interviews you've done, and you've got some good media coverage. Is this something you've worked on, or is it just sort of falling at your lap, this media coverage that On The Go seem to be getting?
Yeah, we've definitely worked on it. We definitely see it as a below-the-line strategy to build brand awareness. I think in our industry, when I started the company, I realised that there was no real leaders behind a lot of the businesses in our game that wanted to put their name on their business. And I thought, well, that's a great opportunity. And it was one of the actual things that Richard Branson always told me, one of the cheapest forms of marketing is put your own name out there. And so we have focused on it a lot.
When you say putting your name out there, do you mean Mick Spencer or do you mean On The Go?
Well, I think both of them. I've always been, I got into my business because I wanted to find a career that intersected purpose with people, the planet, and profit. And when I started On The Go, I could join all those together. So I was also passionate about empowering and connecting others. And I find PR a great way to get your story across. I had some health challenges as a teenager. I wanted other teenagers to hear that. I wanted other business owners to be empowered by that. And I thought that it's a great brand builder as well. So we've kind of equally focused on PR for On The Go and myself because it's I think that as business owners, we learn off what we can read, and particularly others.
And look, even to the fact that you've got your own personal website, which I think is mickspencer.com. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is I think all business owners should be building their personal brand at some level. Be blogging about things that are important to you. If you want to be a speaker, public speaking is a great way of promoting your business. I've had many guests on the show who are masters of that. So good on you for doing that. Let's talk about how On The Go came into being. You failed school. You managed somehow to get into university 2 years later, and that's where the first iteration of On The Go custom apparel was born in 2012. What did that look like?
Yeah, so I was a young punk 22-year-old at university, and after kind of volunteering in Hawaii at a kids camp teaching poor kids sport and leadership, I realised that I just wanted to get into something that got people into sport and activity. But I also loved the internet, I loved merchandise, and I loved technology. So at university, I started printing some T-shirts for some friends' soccer teams, and a large customer approached me through one of those orders, and they'd pre-sold 500 cycling kits, and the procurement manager left without ordering them, and they needed them in 3.5 to 4 weeks, and no one in the world could manufacture such technical product in less than 12 weeks. So stupidly committed to the order, and quote unquote, walked up to mum in the living room saying, how do you reckon we'll go producing these kits? And she said, Mick, you can't even tie the buttons on your polo shirt, let alone manufacture these items. You're crazy. As luck has it, when there's a will, there's a way. We figured out that this was a massively stagnant industry and made it happen, and then realized, there was a lot more customers who had the same problem.
What can you reflect back? It's a few years ago now, but can you reflect back on what made you say yes to something that you thought you couldn't do?
I think it was the excitement of starting before I was ready, and just that passion to feed a hungry crowd. And I saw this customer in a massive problem, and I just wanted to solve it for them. I always loved customer service like that.
So you get your first customer. It was a $50,000 order, I think. Is that right? And you've delivered it. Somehow. How did you deliver it?
I mean, I had to learn how to be everything. A graphic designer, pattern maker, importer, freighter, sublimation expert, everything. And, I was lucky that as a kid I had ADD, and when I wanted to focus, I could. And I just trusted the process. And it was a big trust because I had no money in the bank. I transferred money to a factory in China I'd never met before. And I said yes to a customer I'd never met. But I just thought, well, what's the worst that can happen? And let's go for it.
Well, how old were you then? 22. So, not a lot of downside, really. Great experience. So what's the first year look like? You get your first customer, you deliver on it. Is all a bed of roses going forward, Mick?
No, I mean, what we just did, Tim, was I figured that, and then I always had this strategy where it was like, you know what, if I've done that and I've done my time and learned the process with that category and that product, now I can expand it and do it again and again and again. And I actually realized that the great thing about selling such a large basket size, like 500 units, was that you've actually then closed 500 people. And if you play your marketing right,
yes,
then out of those 500 people, I might reach 10% of them in a qualified way. And that was 50 new leads. So I just focused on being the master of that one category, which was cycling apparel. And then all of a sudden, those people who wore that product had businesses, had other sports teams, and they wanted to then use the same service. And I expanded the first few years of the business literally just based on what customers wanted and where they were finding the biggest problems in the industry.
Genius. How did you actually do that? Were you actively ringing customers and saying, what do you need? What are the problems that you've got? What can we do to help solve them?
I mean, I was ringing, I was emailing, I was driving my shitty Ford Laser from Canberra to Sydney to Melbourne to regional areas, sit down with people. I just felt like this huge privilege to have one customer. And then when I had 10, I wanted 100. And then, that's when you have this huge passion for a customer. I realized that there was a lot of companies out there that weren't listening to the customer's needs. And just actually by asking the question, which isn't hugely innovative or techie or amazing, just really simple stuff, you can actually build a really basic fundamental business. Yeah.
Do you I loved what you said before, Mick, about feeling hugely privileged to have just one customer. Do you think that enough business owners think that having a customer is a privilege?
Yeah, I think, we get so caught up in running a business, and I say this so frequently to my customer service team, that we work so hard to win one customer. And in one moment of messing it up, you can lose them for life. And then if you lose them or you mess it up, they can tell 10 other people and you can do more damage. So I think it's so important. And we acquire new customers every single day in our business, but we must focus constantly on those existing customers we have. And I think a lot of business owners take it, too easy but we live in a world now where people are growing up smarter, quicker, faster than all of us. So we have to be careful.
Yeah, good point. Let's just go through those first couple of years of the business, because I know you've had a lot of wonderful moments in the on-the-go business, but just talking about some of the tough times. You ran out of cash at one point. What happened there?
Oh, look, I think that every growth company is in a cash flow crisis, right? I think that fundamentally my father always taught me, protect your risk, and when you're taking a risk for a customer, make sure that they're covering you. And, stupidly, some early lessons on, I thought I'd change the business slightly. And the business was very innovative because we're a cash upfront business. We take money from a customer or deposit. We make the goods and freight the goods. And no stock holding, cash flow positive, all the signs of a great business. But in early years on, you're trying to fund growth. You want to fund these big new contracts and continually evolve the business without investor capital in those first 3 years. And I stupidly decided for a great big customer to hold stock, which was something that we just never did. We're an on-demand, customized product company. And we held stock for a large company, and they pulled the contract from us about a month into holding that stock, and it almost wiped us. And, so you've got to really, business owners, especially ones like me who have bright, shiny syndrome, as my chairman calls it, you have to be careful, right? You've got to focus on fundamentally what your core business is. Really be careful when you deviate away from that.
Bright, shiny syndrome. I'm just writing that one down. Tell me more about that. You're easily distracted. I suppose with ADD, you're going to be kind of jumping between ideas.
I think in the early years you are, right? Because it takes you so long to figure out what you actually do. Like, what do you do and what is your business model? I think it's very different for me now. I have a team of almost 40 people, a multi-million-dollar turnover, shareholders that are some of the biggest companies in Australia. So I've got a very different job now. I need to stay innovative and forward-thinking, but I'm a lot less bright and shiny because I have a bigger responsibility. But in those early days, you kind of just go where the opportunity comes from, and that's good and bad, right, in the same sentence.
Thanks to American Express. We're chatting with Mick Spencer, who is the founder of On The Go Custom Apparel. Mick, what do you think was the one thing? Was there one thing that really gave On The Go the kick it needed to take it to a level where you thought, hang on, this is going to be a serious business?
Yeah, I think there's been a couple, Tim, and a couple of different stages. Early on, it was that first order. That got me to drop out of university. And then it was about finding my first great staff member who really helped me evolve my thinking with having staff. About 3 or 4 years into the business, we were on Shark Tank, and we got the largest deal on Shark Tank in season 2. I went in to pitch for $300,000, walked out with $600,000, and had sold my 30% of my company to the Sharks on the show. And that was, 1.1 million people watching, and that was that next boost at that point. I didn't end up following through with them to bring them on as shareholders, but that was, millions of dollars of publicity.
Who were the Sharks out of interest?
We got Janine Ellis, we got Steve Baxter, and we got Andrew Banks. They're all great people.
Right,
still
okay.
keep in touch with them. And we had a great show. We were the first pitch on the season. And the TV put us in the light in a really positive way, and I was ever thankful for that because we couldn't afford that media coverage. Right, 12 minutes of curated primetime television is a lot.
And season 2 too, when it was kind of just finding its feet. Did you get a whole lot of business as a result of being on Shark Tank?
Huge. I mean, we had about 300,000 people hit the site over about a 7-day period. We had tons of publicity. We were like a poster child overnight. I was walking through airports. People are going, "Hey, you pitch on Shark Tank." It was really great. And, our product lends itself so well to Aussie homes because everyone knows someone who's a small business owner or a sports team or, someone who can order custom apparel for their cause. So it was a fantastic legway. And then that was the next step. And then, from there, most recently, partnering up with Wesfarmers was that next kind of wow moment. So I think that you refresh your wow moments at each stage. And what we've done we've had about an average of between 80 and 120% growth year on year since we started. Each new stage we've been re-inspired about where the business actually can be, and that's not just from myself and my dreams, but proper people who have built big businesses. So that's exciting.
Sure is. 80 to 120% growth year on year.
Yes, it can get tiring, I tell you.
Well, we better talk about. We'll talk about work-life balance at the end. The Wesfarmers joint venture, Mick, that's incredible. So Wesfarmers, maybe describe to our overseas listeners who Wesfarmers is and how that JV came about.
Yeah, we were approached by the head of their industrials division, who was actually Richard Branson's former CEO of 10 years. And this is a really good story about you should always trust that the dots will connect, because in this instance, it really did for me. And by way of meeting Richard Branson, I met David Baxby, who was the head of industrial, who in the last 12 months has become head of industrials and safety at Wesfarmers. And he knew our tech and our platform and our business. And under his responsibility, he'd acquired Workwear Group, which is Australia's largest uniform company. So he just put 2 and 2 together where, at Virgin, he just spent his whole kind of career going around the world and doing JVs with startups and then putting Virgin badge on it and building a great team that way. It was a good marriage of that.
Amazing. And what's the JV brought to On The Go?
So look, we've done a joint venture with Workwear Group, who's the owners of King G, Hijacker, and NNT Uniforms. Essentially, they have one of the largest uniform businesses in the Southern Hemisphere, and they've got some digital inefficiencies that we're able to fill with our software. They want to become more and more relevant to their customer. But it was essentially, building something like what we do was going to be difficult for them. And their factories are used to long runs, high minimums, long turnaround, whereas we're all about short run, quick turnaround. So they've white labeled our software, given it to their field team of 250 salespeople with a thick kind of sales target, and they're hitting the road selling our product to the big banks, the big airlines, and industrial and small business customers all over Australia.
They've white labelled the technology, which you've sunk a lot of dough into. How do you make a quid then from a Wesfarmers? Is there a split of commissions when something gets sold?
Yeah, so between us, we have a 2-year sales target that they have to meet. And then equally on the back of that, we get the majority split of those revenues. And then we get paid a license fee per use of product. And then equally, we're working together to build out our business and their business and now taking it into Officeworks and then other larger companies as well who want to offer this type of product in their store or their network.
We're talking to Mick Spencer, founder of On The Go Apparel. At the heart of that business, Mick, obviously it's an online ordering system that is available to sporting clubs and small businesses all over the world, from what I can gather. What caught my eye when I first came across your story was the fact that I think it was an article I read somewhere where you are putting vending machines into Officeworks stores around Australia. So now really small businesses can just walk in and get some order some branded apparel through a vending machine. How's that work?
Yeah, so it's an invention called the customization station. And what I wanted to do was, rather than just being a typical e-com company, I wanted to give my customers a much broader approach to ordering. And I know that they want to feel fabrics, try on garments, but get that experience in store. So partnering up with Officeworks and a few other little retailers in Australia, we're installing these kiosks over the next 2 to 3 years where people will be able to go in, try on garments, touch and feel fabrics, be inspired by what other people have designed, and then actually design their own uniform or their own sports team's gear within an Officeworks. Transfer their logo from their phone, place the order in that store, get it delivered to their home or back to the Officeworks store.
I don't think Australia, from what I can tell, and I haven't been to Japan, but I hear Japan are nailing vending machines, whereas vending machines over here we're a bit behind the game, but clearly you're challenging that.
We are in Australia. I think we're pretty protected. And, you go to Asia, you go to Europe, it's just kind of common sense and just, it's not innovative over there because, it's just what you've got to do to survive. But I think Australia is really starting to. We're seeing some big changes in different formats of e-com, wanting to go more omni-channel. And I think it's just that, this whole hype of retail's dead. It's not dead. It's so far from dead. People want to go in stores. People want to go online. They just want experience. That's the key theme here. So that's where we're focused, yeah.
Yeah, experience is big. I know it's a bit of a buzzword, but it makes a whole lot of sense when we live in a world of parity. I think I was saying on an episode recently, there's no shortage of any type of business in any type of industry. So what's going to set us apart? And often the customer experience is one of those things. Let's talk marketing. You say you've got a relentless ethos of making it happen. You said to the customer. Do you want to explain that ethos?
Yeah, sure. So, look, we have one of our key values at OTG is go beyond in service and delivery, and making it happen. The way we see that is we were entering an industry where people design branded products for their business or an event or a really important cause, and there was competitors happy to deliver 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks late, and just say to the customer, "We'll kind of suck it up. That's how it is." Whereas for me, I just didn't think that was fair. So we've just got this huge mantra towards our DIFOT score, which is delivering full on time. And that is what we do. I mean, I had a rep today driving a box down from Sydney airport, someone in regional Australia, about a 3-hour drive, because that was going to be the quickest way to get it there for this customer for something they had on tonight. And that story runs through the business every other day. And we want to be known for that. It's a challenging industry because of the way products are made and to do it at scale. So we fail as well, but we're so passionate about that. We must make it happen for the customer and continuing that drive as we grow, and not getting too boring.
Well, and that having that ethos too, I'm guessing, Mick, is just going to create wonderful word of mouth where people go, you're not going to believe what happened, but Mick and his team at On The Go had someone drive down and this and that and the deadline, and, people are going to talk.
Correct. And that's, the most powerful piece of marketing is word of mouth, right? And reviews and what people say. That's the undisputable truth of the business. So that's why we invest in that, and that's why we have no qualms with investing resources to make something happen for the customer, because that's our focus. We want to nail this industry. It's a huge industry globally. We want to be the best here, and we're very category focused. We want to be the best specialist in this area, and we think that's going to be a big business. And you've got to back up what you say, and it doesn't happen all the time, must I add, right? So you can easily say that you're the best of the best, but it doesn't happen all the time. And me and my head of commercial are often on the phone to customers when things have messed up. And that's also a part of it, right?
Sure. An opportunity to grow,
Exactly. Being transparent with the customer, telling them that, you've had growing pains, you're here to solve it, what can we do? And sometimes, we have people design serious stuff on our platform. I mean, we have stories where someone's doing a running festival for their sister who died of breast cancer. And that's important stuff, right? People are investing heavily in branded products to promote a new product for Samsung or Microsoft that's going to market at a conference. I mean, you can't mess that stuff up. So it's very critical products that we sell.
What's your overall view on marketing? How important is it to your business? And what's the best marketing you've done, Mick?
Marketing, I think, we call it customer acquisition or demand creation is the review we put on it. And we have, this whole focus on, 7 to 12 touch points of a customer. So there's obviously the above and the below the line on that. And I think it's that whole adage of reach and frequency. You've really got to hit a customer multiple times across multiple channels to become front of mind. So I literally have a poster right in my office. We have it in every other room about the 7 to 12 point strategy of an OTG customer journey. And the couple of months out from when we think they're going to order, it's the SEO, it's paid advertising, it's PR. It then gets into the consider stage where it's about referrals and blogs and remarketing if they've come to the site. And then in that lead up to when we think they're going to order, it's really kind of, we hope that we've pulled them into the funnel and excited them through the internet and remarketed them and then really sending them a really personalized message that they feel that we are the right solution for them to order their team kits on. So we focus on it hugely. It's a big part of our business. And we also track a lot of the economics, the underlying economics behind it as well. So we're constantly tracking our costs to acquire certain orders, certain categories, what's working and not working. And once you really tweak that and understand it, you can actually start to really drive the volume up of your revenue, because it then just can become quite an easy narrative.
I've looked at your website, and I just want to finish off this chat, Mick, by pulling your website apart a bit, because I'm guessing you've put a lot of work into this website. You've got trust icons, you've got live chat, you have got the offer of a promo code that slightly vibrates. I almost feel like it vibrates when I look at it. They did it again. It doesn't know I'm looking at it, but maybe give us 3 to 5 little pointers. I mean, everyone listening's got a website for their business. Many are frustrated by it. What are some of the kind of user interface little trickeries that you've got going here that we can learn from?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot in there, as you've alluded to. Look, we have developers watching videos of every single user on the website. We have heat mapping software on there. We do a lot of A/B testing, so we'll serve different customers different things. And we want to make the site as relevant and as easy for the customer. We don't want them to waste their time. So we constantly have, I think, look, to break it down easy, I would say you have to identify who is the customer that's coming to the site. So we profile our small business customer. We profile our volunteer soccer mum customer. We profile our elite athlete customer. And then we think about how they want to entertain on the site. And often people think that they can build the sexiest website, but it can actually be shit for the customer. So you look at some of the biggest websites on the planet. They're ugly, but they're easy to use. So I think that's one of the other things that I found interesting is let's not make it amazing. Let's just make it simple for what the customer wants.
That's really true. I mean, again, looking at your website, if you were to kind of be constructively critical, it's not the most beautiful, but it just ticks a lot of boxes. Like I walk away from this website going, I would confidently buy from you. And clearly that's what the outcome you're looking for is.
Yeah, thank you.
Great story. Hey, Mick, I feel like, and I say this to the odd guest that comes on this show, I feel like you are sort of in day one of On The Go. You've had some massive wins, joint ventures, you've met the big fella in Branson, you got the Prime Minister coming tomorrow, but I feel like you got a long way to go, and I wish you all the best with it, mate.
Oh, mate, we really are just getting started, yeah, and we do have a long way to go. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be watching with interest. Thanks, Mick.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Well, there you go, team. Man on a mission, Mick Spencer from On The Go Custom Apparel, which you will find at onthegosports.com.au if you want to have a look. I've also posted some pics of our PM at Mick's Business. You can see them over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/436. Hey, be sure to hang around after my top 3 attention grabbers, as this week's jingle of the week, well, it's full of good vibrations. But first, my top 3 attention grabbers from that chat with Mick Spencer, thanks to our very good friends at American Express. Attention grabber number 1. I just love Mick's overall drive and enthusiasm. You know, he's got the Prime Minister visiting, he's launching his first book, he's on the speaking circuit, he's not shy to generate media coverage, and he's running a multi-million-dollar business with some serious partnerships. Love his drive and enthusiasm. Attention grabber number 2. I really love Mick's philosophy around creating 7 to 12 touch points before a prospect becomes a customer. And he even takes it one step further, as he said, by having created a poster that details those touch points posted all over the office. What a great reminder. You know, don't lose faith when you don't lose faith ever. Don't lose faith when you go out with a couple of little marketing initiatives and you don't get much reaction. Remember, it does take people a long time before they come around thinking, I think I'll buy from those guys. Personalise it. Think of how you operate in your own life when it comes to buy things. Obviously, the higher involvement the purchase decision, the longer it's going to take someone to decide. And attention grabber number 3. Mick mentioned that he has someone within the business constantly following Google Trends. I think that is genius. That's a great way to keep on top of what's going on in your industry. Plus, it's a really good way, Google Trends that is, to get ideas for fresh, timely content. That's what grabbed my attention. Love to know what grabbed yours. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/436.
Come on down. It's Timbo's Monster Prize Draw.
Oh yes, indeedly doodly. It is that time of the episode where we reward a motivated listener for taking swift marketing action. I'll explain how you can enter this afterwards, because I want to get to today's winner immediately. And today's winner is Dr. Ty Belknap from Port Bell, which is a US-based digital marketing agency based in Tacoma, Washington. Nice. Well done, Dr. Ty. Here's what he sent us. He says, hello, Timbo. I've listened to almost every episode of Small Business Big Marketing, and I hope you'll forgive me for taking so long to write to you. Yeah, only 9 years, Dr. Ty. That's okay. I'm okay. You've written. That's a good start. He goes on to say, I have learned a great deal from your podcasts, and some of the marketing gold I've learned has enabled my business coaching business to grow a great deal. So he's got a business coaching business as well as the digital marketing agency. He says, I just finished listening to podcast 413 with Mia Klitzis from Moxie, which is the tampon subscription service. I just decided not to do a marketing campaign because I thought the message was a bit too pointed for some people. But Mia did some marketing that was very different from the other companies in her industry, marketing that had strong imagery. I took away a very clear idea, and that is, don't be afraid of a strong marketing message. Correct, Dr. Ty. Yes, it may turn away some people. That's okay. But those people may not be your target market. Correct. Nothing wrong with polarising. I would rather have clients that have a sense of humour, so I have changed my mind and will be doing the new marketing campaign anyway, thanks to what Mia was talking about. Dr. Ty, you're onto something there. Don't try to be everything to everyone. You end up being nothing to no one. Be yourself, inject some personality, create marketing messages that may alienate your business from certain groups of people. That's okay. The marketing that does hit the people that you want it to will really stick. Thanks for your letter, Dr. Ty. You have won the Monster Prize Draw, but because you're in the States, I can't send you anything. I've got to get some guests donating prizes that we can send overseas. But you did get some promotion on the show. Portbell.com is where you will find Dr. Ty, see what he's up to. Plus, I'm going to give the good doctor a backlink on the Small Business Big Marketing website, which is priceless. So thanks, good doc. Hey, everyone else, I'd love you to email me with one idea that you've implemented from listening to this show, what impact it's had on your business. If I read it on air, you win. Lots of prizes in the treasure chest, let me tell you. And that's if I read it on air. You'll get 1, 2, maybe 3 prizes. And if it's the letter of the year, which I announce in December, you will win a hot lap in a racing Porsche with past guest and racing car legend who won Bathurst for the 5th time a couple of weeks ago, Steve Richards. That is valued at $2,500. Email me, tim@timreid.com.au. Okay, I think it's time for the jingle of the week. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about jingles that use the music from popular songs and just change the words. It's completely legal. I get that. All the brand needs to do is purchase the mechanical rights to the song and they can rewrite it. I get all that. But doesn't it ruin great songs like this one?
The Good Guys, where you pay less when you pay cash. The Good Guys, pay less, pay cash.
Oh, gee. The Beach Boys, what would they be thinking? Well, I suppose they gave permission. How about pay less and don't use a popular song to promote your business? That'd be a better line. I don't know. What do you reckon? Am I being too harsh? Got to promote your business somehow. Got to stand out. And I guess having a popular track under, supporting your brand can be a good thing. I'll find some more jingles over the coming weeks that have killed popular songs. And if you know one, hit me up on Twitter @TimboReid, R-E-I-D. That almost wraps up another episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Show, sponsored by our great friends at American Express. Be sure to search Amex Business. You can do that now that the show's over to find out how your business expenses can reward you and which American Express card is right for you. Hey, got some great interviews coming up in the coming weeks, including one on mental health for small business owners. And in a few weeks' time, you and I are going to be masterclassed in search engine optimization tactics for 2019 by one of the world's leading experts. Be excited. Be very, very excited. Don't forget there's an entire back catalogue of interviews over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. If you love the show, then let another business owner know about it by grabbing their phone, opening the podcast app, and doing what? That's right, downloading it for them. Until next week, I am Timbo Reid. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.